All right, jumping in to Iowa Farm Pond. This is the picture perfect Iowa Farm Pond setting. Get the anodes set up. We're in the pond. Getting in the pond is always easy. It's getting out that can be a little tricky at times. This one won't be so bad because we've got trees we can always winch to. Get the boat set up. Figure out what's going on with this fish population. So the backstory would be the last 3 years has been good fishing. 2019, 20, and 21, but 2022 has been pretty bad fishing, noticeably different. So we're here to figure out why that is and what are things to do to make that better. Stay tuned.
So my question is, how deep do you actually shock the fish?
So it all depends on the water chemistry, but typically you're getting down 6 to 8 feet. The fish kind of on the periphery of the electrical field are going to get shocked a lot weaker, so they might, outrun the field. But anything kind of in that main zone up the front is gonna shock real well. It'll float up. We'll net them. We'll put them in the live well, and then we'll look at them at the end and see what's going on.
Nice. And then about how wide of an area would you shock at a time?
Again, it's a very dependent, but your radius is probably around 20-ish feet around the boat. All depends on the water chemistry, how good the conductivity is. Letting that water or that electricity travel through the water. So, but yeah, we'll see what we do.
Cool.
All right, we got the anodes set up. The electricity goes out there from the generator to the control box, all the way out to the anodes. As we heard earlier, we're going to be shocking fish 6 to 8 feet down and about a 20-foot peripheral. That's a big word for me. Can you say what that word is again?
Can I touch the water where it's going?
You absolutely can, and actually that would be fantastic if you'd try it. What was the word again? Peripheral? Peripheral edge. So anyhow, big 3-syllable word, maybe 4, I don't even know. But now it's time to shock some fish. Basically, we're looking for the fish. The fish do not cover the whole pond. They're not everywhere. We're gonna be looking for the fishy looking spots, and we're looking for fish of all sizes, from little tiny, medium, hopefully to find a bunch of bigs, because that's always fun. All right, let's get this rolling. Let's find out how many amps and volts we're gonna be getting out today. Looks like a lot of bolts and about 13 amps. We're going to give that a try with a 50-25 pulse rate duty cycle. It's not a continuous pulse. We are officially fishing. We're looking for fish. We're not out in a fishy looking area, but as we get towards the shoreline or to these trees, we should start popping some fish. Like there's some little fish curling up in the edges of the weeds. It's always interesting to see what they are.
Maybe
Crappies and bluegills. We don't get a lot of little crappies like that, so that's kind of good to see, especially if you like to eat crappies. It sounds like they've eaten about 500 crappies in the last 3 years here, so. Bass population is what's taking a hit. They went from 59 fish at a fishing derby 2 years ago last year to just 3 in the fishing derby this year. So it's definitely haven't popped any largemouths yet, which is kind of a little bit concerning. Okay, so there is some young of the year largemouth. Kind of interesting. Bugs. Not a lot of fish so far though. a lot of times where we can fill up the tank in just this amount of time. Now we're gonna have to do what's called work hard to find them. Here goes something. Looks like a crappie. Nice size crappie. So if there was a fish kill or an otter situation, oh, black nose, yeah, that's pretty.
Actually, one of each.
Okay.
That's stock.
A lot of times the crappie will live through a fish kill. And I do believe, I'm getting the feeling that this is a fish kill scenario and not an otter scenario. Wes, I'm not convinced that the electricity is working right. Can you stick your, here's a nice bass. Oh, dang, maybe it is working. I was gonna say, could you check the left side and just make sure we've got enough coming out? But just as I was about to say that, we popped our first bass, got a little bit of a bacterial infection on its fin there. We'll look at that here in just a little bit. Alright, so we're starting to pop fish, but we're definitely missing a lot of size classes of fish. We'll check back in here shortly. So we're continuing on collecting a lot of young of the year fish and very few adult fish. But the ones we are collecting are in great body condition, besides a bacterial infection on the one largemouth bass. But just very few fish overall above that 4 to 5 inch mark. We're just going through the history of like, how was the ice fishing season? How was the fall fishing season? When could these fish have died and why? I think we're getting close to the root of that and figuring it out. I feel like we had a fall turnover. I don't feel like it was a wintertime fish still. I feel like it was a fall turnover. Just seeing the algae that's growing within the water column, the vegetation, it just gets the feel that had a big rain late fall and brought in a bunch of cold water right at the wrong time, and the whole pond flipped and caused a good portion of these fish to die, basically suffocating for the next few days as all the bad water mixes with the good water or cold water. Just kind of creates that reaction where the water clears up and all the algae dies off. Just a pile of fish. You can't quite see them and drive the boat at the same time, but a lot of forage. Now we just need to get the predators back going and figure out how to prevent that fish kill from happening again. A lot of that. There's going to be some fat, happy bass in here, though, when they do come back. That is for certain. Another nice crappie. And the crappies make it through these fish kills better than any of the fish. They can just kind of hang higher in the water column and usually can find a way to survive. And that's when crappies get what's called stunted. If he did nothing and didn't add any more predators into this situation, the crappies would end up stunting out that there's so many of them and so few predators. So it is going to be important to get some good sized bass in here as soon as possible. The good news is he does have an upper pond where he can bring some of those bass down immediately to get that back started again and start catching up on all that surplus forage.
What would be the difference?
If it was an otter situation, there would still be more, like, look at that.
That's the one we covered.
This looks like a really fishy looking area. So we'll see what, if there's anything trying to ambush. Gotta kind of get in the sticks. I know we're gonna hit that one. But sometimes you gotta just get right in there to get the fish. Not as many fish hanging by that tree as I would have anticipated. Well, there was a good sized crappie hanging over there. We might have to take some of these crappie back to the lab, test them for flavor analysis. It's got an upper pond, and that is more than likely a bass that's been transplanted down. All right, shady side of the pond, a few little brush piles sticking out. Let's see if another big boy's hanging out, or actually big girl is hanging out. I know if I was a big fish, I'd be hanging in the shade. That sunlight would hurt my eyes. And they don't make sunglasses or Maui Jims or Costas for fish. Good job, Kevin.
My good job.
Oh, it's coming. Get a big one. Yeah, but I missed the good job when it happened, so you got to do it again. All right, I got good news and bad news.
What do you got?
The good news is you are not a terrible fisherman.
I was hoping that was the case.
So I know that is a little bit of consolation to know that you're not a terrible fisherman. There really isn't a lot of catchable size fish in here, which unfortunately is the bad news for the time being. Now, when we want to make a lemonade out of lemons, the good news is there's a ton of forage. And when you do get some big largemouth bass back in here, they are going to have plenty of food to eat for the next few years, and they're going to grow really, really large. So it's just a matter of like if this is a 2.5 acre pond, there is an existing bass population where there's this year class, last year's year class, and then a handful of the year before, plus the big one that was transferred from up above. So that's a mixed bag. That was a catfish that was stocked earlier this year. You can see they grow really, really fast. All right, so we'll go through these fish and come up with a plan. One thing I noticed with the crappies is it's not just straight black crappies. You've got white crappie and white crappie. So that means it's been.
And there's regular and black nose. So.
Yeah, so like the black nose is a stocked fish made in a hatchery down in Arkansas. Now when they breed, they'll breed black nose too. But so the people have been stocking fish periodically, but then they've also been stocking fish from other reservoirs, because these typically don't come from a fish farm, these white crappies. All right, let's go through this. All right, so it's a fat little chunker, got plenty of food. Looking for some black spot, yellow grub, a little bit of black spot on there, right there, but nothing. That's just a nice, good, heavy relative weight fish. You're gonna be growing trophy bass here, whether you do anything or not. You're gonna have some trophy stuff like that. That's gonna be the norm here, real quick on the largemouth bass.
I think we got about 2 or 3 this summer up above there.
About that, yeah.
Those down about that size.
All right, so kind of what we're thinking was a fall time fish kill with a big turnover in an untimely rain and a clear up, die up of the algae. We went through, we just got done going through the fish, or the lack thereof, and we decided we're gonna need to get 100 largemouth bass, 6 to 8 inches. They're gonna be feed trained to give them that extra pop, get them up to size quicker to start eating on them little crappies and bluegills. We are gonna stock another 1,000 regular bluegills just for future forage. They're gonna eat fish food from that fish feeder right there as well. and we're gonna do a nutrient reduction program with about 8 to 10 pounds of bacteria per month. April, May, June, July, August. That's kind of what we're thinking a little bit, just the basics of what we're thinking. We'll put together the full report and get back with them here on exactly how to get this pond back on track. All right, Kev, let's see if you can get out.
Get out of the way.
You post your videos, man?
The answer is try number 1. No. I think we're gonna have to winch, dude.
I do too, because this boat's getting awful.
All right. So hey,
up
what
the
do you think
winch.
about one more try?
Where's your posi lock on this horrible Chevy?
I don't know what that means, but just start pushing buttons and then hit the gas. It's like Wes's peripheral earlier on, dude.
It's a Chevy for you.
I got a great idea. Let's hook up the winch.
I agree.
All right, Kev. We got the winch hooked up. We got Wes running the winch. This helps us get out of a lot of ponds. We've got one of the most skilled drivers in Iowa, which isn't saying a lot because it's the state of Iowa. But the combination of the winch guy and the driver and turning off the posi lock helps us get that winch right on out. He tried to go ahead of the winch. We're free. Home free, man.
We're good, Wes.
Hey, there's your good job, Wes.
You're good.
Just make sure to feed it on really beautifully.